since it's where I am in North Carolina. We're still in the negative numbers with the wind chill this morning and haven't climbed out into double digits yet. And before we got started, we were chatting in the room, Laura, and a lot of people are in the same boat today. So it's a good knitting day. It's a good party line day, and it's a good day to talk about heart health. It's always a good day to talk about heart health, and especially women. And I was so welcome, Jimmy. Yes, welcome, Jimmy. So I have to do the welcome, Jimmy. So yeah, so we got some woohoo's here. So so now Jim, I was going to call you Jimmy. So Laura, this is the third book. This one just came out. This is the third book in your Stitch Red series. So tell us about how this project got started.
Well, the Stitch Red project in general?
Yes.
The Stitch Red project got started because, I mean, it's kind of an interesting story. When we had the shop in Truckee, our little 500 square foot store, I had a sales rep who would come in, and she was the rep for Barocco, and we started talking about writing a book together, and maybe we should do something. And we were trying to figure out like what kind of book we could write. And as we were talking, we started, of course, naturally started to talk about our personal lives. And I was telling her that my husband, Doug, had just been to the doctor, and the doctor wanted to had high blood pressure. He was 35 at the time, healthy, we're active, and they wanted to put him on high blood pressure medicine. And that really scared us a lot. I mean, to think, at that age that he's already got high blood pressure. And so anyway, we were able to change our diets and change our grocery shopping habits as such to get his blood pressure low enough that he doesn't have to go on medication yet.
Oh, that's great.
He's 43 now. And as I was telling her this story, she said, well, I have heart disease. And she was about 50.
Still young.
Healthy. Yes, very, very young. So we started to talk about it, and we're like, wow, heart disease is serious. Heart attacks, high blood pressure, all of that kind of put together. And it's the #1 killer of women, and maybe we should write a book about that. And maybe we should try to draw awareness to that, because a lot of us don't realize it. And again, this was 8 years ago, so it was around the time that like celebrity scarves came out, and there was a lot of emphasis placed and a lot of attention drawn to breast cancer awareness, which is important as well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we thought that heart disease should have some kind of awareness drawn to it. Anyway, so we started kind of fleshing out this idea, and then she passed away. So like 2 days after one of our meetings of heart disease. And so I kind of let it sit. I let this book, the original book was Knit Red, let it sit for about 3 or 4 years until I had an employee come in who had some nonprofit experience. She had started her own nonprofit, and we were talking about projects that she could work on, and we decided to pull this one back out and decided that we weren't just going to do a book, but we were going to do an entire campaign where we could get everybody. We thought if everybody in the industry uses the same logo, the same website, the same, we all donate to the same cause, that we could get a lot more power and a lot more awareness created as a result. And that's what happened. And then the books just kind of came, they flowed naturally, one after the other.
So first Knit Red, then Stitch Red for quilters and sewers. And
Sew Red, yeah.
And now, or Sew Red, and now Crochet Red. So you're making sure that you haven't left anybody out of the equation. Although I guess
what's next is Cook Red.
Oh, all red food?
No, but all heart-healthy recipes.
Oh, there you go. So it's like, please don't make it all red food. So as someone who has a lot of white upholstery in my house in Florida, I have a lot of light colored upholstery. We don't serve red food in my house to guests, especially small children. We've learned that lesson. So
that's really fun.
Yeah. So, but this, but what's really lovely is the color red, especially in knitting and crocheting. Red, because everybody can find a shade of red that looks good on them, and it photographs so beautifully. And red shows the texture of both knitting and crochet so well. It's such a great color. I think everybody feels good in red. I know when I wear red, I feel different, and in a good way. So it's lovely. This whole book is red, which I just absolutely love. So let's take a little tour, shall we? Should we take a look at the book?
Sure. Yeah, I've got mine.
Good. I just pulled out a few of the projects, and let's see if this is actually going to work today. Oh, I think it is. There we go. So, yeah, Trisha says weaving red and spinning red. So,
Oh,
it's all fiber, right? It's all fiber, and I just love red in
good
my house
idea.
too. So here we go. So now this book, like Knit Red, also has the projects are by some really big name designers and some people that might be new to crocheters or knitters. But Kathy Merrick, of course, been, has is one of the big name people. So this jacket is beautiful. Tell us about this.
Well, first of all, Kathy, I met her for the first time maybe a year or two ago, right when we started this book. She's got to be one. I don't know if it's because I think she's from Pennsylvania. And so I don't know if it's that, but she's like one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. And she's got the most infectious smile. So if you ever get a chance to take a class from her or, go to something with her, you will be so happy. She's just amazing, super, super nice. And she was really excited, or really gracious and being willing to be part of this book. And it features one of our favorite yarns, which is Swan's Island. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's a yarn that's all U.S. created and dyed up in Maine. Swan's Island makes these beautiful blankets, and so they started coming out with hand knitting yarns, and their stuff is just phenomenal. Just so, and it's just so from the heart. So it just kind of made sense to match these two together. And this is just a super cute sweater. Kathy knows how to do it. I love the little fake belt, or the way she kind of
Yeah.
crocheted a belt into it almost.
Yes. And yeah, Candy says this is pretty, and somebody who just flip Roxy said figure flattering too, and I
Yes,
agree.
exactly.
And that's what I really was drawn to this project because, and Shannon says that she loves the edging and the waist treatment. It's the little detail and the mix of texture is really sharp, and it has and of course the front of it has like a jacket front. It's really,
Right,
yeah, it's just really, really a beautiful mix of textures. And one of the things that I was drawn to in this book, because I knit way more than I crochet, like probably 90-10 if I had to split it. But there are some things that crochet does so beautifully that really, because they just create such different fabrics, and that the
right.
projects in this book really highlight the beauty of crochet. And this jacket being just a prime example where you get that really heavily textured, lacy kind of look. This is such a prime example of that in a beautiful mix of textures. This is one of those
Yeah.
projects. If you make this for yourself, you'll wear this for 10 years, 20 years until you wear out the elbows. So
Well,
really,
and
really
what I'm
pretty.
proud of is, I started knitting because I ended up going into a yarn shop in San Francisco, and I walked in kind of accidentally, and I thought, wow, like I didn't know you could make this stuff. I had no idea that you could knit these beautiful sweaters. Was kind of assumed that it was all Bugs Bunny. Uh, and so I'm really proud of this book and, of Kathy's design because wow, I didn't realize that you could create stuff like this with crochet.
Yeah,
And it,
it's really lovely.
yeah, it makes you look
Really.
at it in a whole new light.
Yeah, and I think as we go through the projects I pulled from the book, because I think I pulled 10 of the projects from the book, is that it really I picked things that kind of show really what crochet can do,
Right.
and like this for the cables. When I think cables, I think get out the cable needles, because I actually still do my cables with new cable needles, but get out the cable needles, and I forget how much you can really do um, with intricate textures in crochet. And I thought this was a really great example and a nice, like, smaller project for somebody who maybe does basic crochet but wants to expand a little bit.
Yeah. And the yarn, again, it's the Blue Sky Alpaca's Techno. So it's, it's just ridiculously soft
Oh yeah.
and, not itchy and just perfect for a hat and shows off all this, the design. I love, I don't know if you have a picture of the top of the hat, but the top of the hat, has got kind of the petals, and it's adorable. And it's amazing. It kind of looks like a knit hat.
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I thought this to me did not look like it was crocheted, which I think is really the magic of this design is
Right.
that you have to look hard at it to figure out how it was made. So, really nice. And this is crazy beautiful. And this technique that was done with this is actually something special for this designer, right?
Yes. Yeah, so Tanis, when we were, I was looking around for different crocheters and trying to figure out, who we wanted to pull in into the book, saw her stuff, and she's got this interlocking crochet technique that she has created and written books on, and her stuff is so gorgeous. I want that in my house. And so we asked her specifically, we're like, can you take Madeline Tosh, which I feel like
Oh,
has some beautiful colors
yeah.
and it's beautiful texture. Can you take that and can you make us, I mean, basically, can you make us this? So I remember, walking through the warehouse and a whole bunch of us at the store here, we picked out colors and tried to find something that we thought would look really well that had, or look really good that had red in it. And just this technique and this, I mean, I want to, this is one of the things that I will probably make because I just think it's the most gorgeous thing ever. And look how nice it would look on your white furniture if
Oh
you made
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, and this is getting a lot of love. Trisha says it's gorgeous, and Shannon says it's really pretty. It looks woven, which is really the kind of the
Yep.
crazy thing. And Candy says it's beautiful, and Trisha says it reminds her of a woven scarf or placemat, which is exactly it.
Well,
So
and I guess you could probably take this, and if you don't, you could just use the technique in here and narrow it down and make a scarf instead.
yeah, I think that and the technique is really something cool and special. So
Um,
so Bobby wants to know what size this blanket is,
it's
but
44 by 50.
yeah, so it's a good size for a sofa. Very nice. So, and this I just love. This is one of those things that I look at and say, yeah, this is what crochet does better than knitting.
Yes,
So this is
much,
really
much
lovely,
better.
and from Deborah Norville, who is a star in her own right. So
Yes. Yep.
yeah,
And she's a sewist, and she's a knitter, and she's a crocheter, and she's from the South, which I'm from the South, so I like that. And she just puts together, I mean, she's got a great eye, and she's so gracious again, and she's written the foreword to all three of the books and has had designs in the books, and she's just fantastic. And
yeah,
this is using, obviously, her yarn that she distributes. I think you can find it probably in Michael's and Walmart and Joann's and
yeah,
stuff. Um, but yeah,
yes,
and heart disease is really important to her because it's affected her family. So that was one of the reasons she wanted to be involved.
yeah. And Marcia has a point. She says this is beautiful for Valentine's Day, which I agree.
Yeah.
It's very
Oh, really
very
cute.
sweet and feminine. And this I just love. And this designer was not somebody who was known to me, but I definitely love this coat. And it is another example of
Hmm.
really the best use of crochet, I think, or this kind of
Yep.
open sort of flowy thing. So tell us about
Yeah.
this.
Well, this is Charles Voth. He's a Canadian guy, and he crochets and he knits and he does all kinds of. He's an artist. And when we spoke with him, he's a very active. Again, heart disease is really important to him and to his family. He's had many family members, as you'll read in the book, or many friends that have suffered from heart disease, and family members as well. And so he was excited to be part of this and came up with this, and we were just floored. Because, when we, for a lot, with Tanis's blanket, that was one example of, Tanis, here's what, could you possibly do this? Like, we have this vision of this, red and gray gingham blanket. Can you make that? But then with other artists, other people like Charles, we just said, do what you want. I mean, your stuff is so incredible that and you're so creative. We just want you to create something, and this is what he came up with, and I think it's fantastic.
Really, really pretty. So I hate to do this. Can I ask you all to hold for just a second? This beautiful sweater, which I just absolutely love the colors in this sweater. It's just so they're just so warm and like autumny at the same time. They're just beautiful. Tell us about this sweater design here from Jenny King.
Well, as far as color, it's so funny. So I've had the shop for 12 years, and there are still certain colors that I recognize from like opening day. And this is one of them. I mean, anytime I see this on anybody, I'm like, hey, that's Nora Silk Garden color 84. It's one of their earliest colors, and it's been around forever, and it's just classic. I mean, 12 years later, and it's still one of the most beautiful colorways out there. And how cool that you can crochet this, and it just makes the stripes for you. I mean, that never gets old. It's the most fun thing ever, I think.
Yeah,
Personally.
and I think the thing about I think that ends in when you're knitting a sweater, especially if it's a sweater with traditional construction, the ends all end up in the side seams and you don't really worry about it too much. But in crochet, it can be a little trickier, crocheting in your ends. And so it's really lovely when you have something like this where the yarn basically does it all.
Yes, absolutely. So Jenny, this sweater kind of came about because I had been talking to Trisha Malcolm, who is the editor, or the publisher of the book, and the editor of Vogue Knitting magazine, and she's, if you didn't know, she's from Australia, and so Jenny King is a friend of hers, or they know each other, and Jenny is a pretty famous crocheter, and my understanding, especially in Australia, well, and in the U.S. as well. She's done a ton of books. She goes to all kinds of shows. She teaches classes. And I met her. She was actually here in Reno maybe a year ago or 2 years ago for a show. And we got to talking, and we talked about Trisha, and we were talking about crocheting, and talking about the yarns that she loves, and this just kind of came out of it. She's just got such a cool, hip style, and it's one of these kind of oversized tunics that, again, anybody could wear.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that you'll just reach for all the time because it's so easy to wear.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, really, really pretty. So let's see what we got next to talk about. Oh, maybe that's the wrong button. Oh, hang on. This I just love the shape of this, and of course we just have had our Arctic vortex weather has just slammed the country. So when I saw the name, I thought, well, this is pretty much what it felt like here in North Carolina. This is what the wind felt like during the Arctic vortex, especially the minus 27 wind chills. So, which this hat would probably not be warm enough for minus 27, but it's quite stylish. So at least you look good while you're freezing. So tell us about this hat.
No, you're exactly right. Well, maybe it would be a good over hat, or it's a good indoor hat, I guess.
There you go. It's a fashion
it's
piece.
Adorable. And, this is what I kind of think of when I think of classic crochet or crocheted hats, which is kind of funny because when you look at it, and if you look at the front of it, it almost looks, once again, it almost looks like it's knit. So I think it was really clever construction and really clever to have, I see that as a flower in the middle.
Yes.
But just a fun way to create something pretty feminine.
Yeah, and it's nice that it combines, kind of that classic medallion motif type of crochet with fabric, crocheted fabric. So it's a really nice mix of the techniques as well, I think is really what's really special about it too.
Agreed.
And who doesn't want a flower on the crown of their head?
Exactly. Exactly. On a personal note, I think it's really neat. If you read Jill's bio or Jill's story, you'll notice that she shares a commonality with most of the other people in the book, specifically those who talk about, working on heart health, and that's that she has a dog. She's got a dog named Wiggy, and it seems like, especially in our world, we're dog people, dog and cat people, pet people. And a lot of people get their exercise, with their pets. I mean, personally, we had 2 dogs that you can see on the website all the time. If ever we're missing a picture, you'll see a picture of Buddy or Wiley, and they both passed away last year.
Oh.
And, it was horrible, horrible, horrible. And my husband and I have noticed, Doug and I have noticed that we've both put on a couple of pounds, not even realizing it, but like our daily life is so different because we don't get outside every day the way that we used to, and we
To
don't
walk
go
your
just a
dogs.
mile here and a mile there the way that we used to. Um, so, having a pet is just so important for
Yeah,
many reasons.
and it does. It gives you a reason to get out, and it gives you companionship while you're out. If especially like
Yes.
if you spend a lot of time apart from other humans, which I do, is that walking with my dogs. It's actually why I spend more time up here in the mountains, is because it's nice and cool, and I love to hike with my dogs. So, but
Yes.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, so that's a great story, and a nice way to keep your heart healthy is to be out with
Yes.
your pets. So I took one look at this pattern and I didn't even have to look to see who did it. I knew this was the double stitch twins. They have such a modern architectural kind of take on crochet. I love their designs, and this is really really cool. So tell us about this mock neck dress.
This is another example of, we just sent a note and said I'd met them at a couple of events and, was friends of friends and just said, can you please do something? I don't care what you do. Anything that you can come up with is going to be, amazing. And of course, this is what they did. And
Yeah,
it's, of
that is
course,
just
amazing. Absolutely incredible.
so sharp. And I mean,
Yes.
and just, beautiful over like a tank or a t-shirt dress, or, even over jeans and a top. I mean, it's just really, really very cool. And that's, I think, the thing about the double stitch twins is everything they do is just very modern. It's clearly not grandma's, or great grandma's crochet. It's real, not that you can't be a hip grandma because I plan to be one, but the
Right.
but it's just so modern and beautiful, and the neck on this is so nice and flattering pretty much on everybody. So
Yes.
yeah, this
Yep.
this might be the first thing I would crochet out of this book because I just love it. But this gives it a pretty good run for its money. This is gorgeous. Tell us about this sweater with cowl.
Um, I love these colors.
Oh my goodness.
I remember when we were talking about, when Marley and I were talking about what she was going to design and what colors, and she was wondering if it would be okay to mix, a couple of shades, but we wanted to work with Bijou Basin and, the, it's not Cascade 220. There aren't 50,000
The color.
different shades of red to choose from. Um,
Exactly.
so she picked these, and again, I sound like a broken record, but again, when people are this talented, it's just like, all right, I mean, do what you want, and I'm sure it's going to come out amazing. And this came out like this is something. It's just so unique and so
Yeah.
neat and constructed in such a clever way.
Yeah, and can see this like even done like in a beaded yarn for
Yeah.
evening, like in black over a simple black dress. And I
Oh,
mean,
genius.
it's just really this is really something special, and the mix of textures is just gorgeous.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And here we go. She's got 3 dogs.
Well, I've had cats and I've had dogs. I've had cats and dogs at the same time. I'm down to just dogs myself. I'm just down to 3 dogs. But there's I think there are a lot of studies that talk about how pets help you live longer. And having pets, when like older people, when they have pets, they live longer. And since this book is really about being healthy and not just living longer, but living better as you live longer and being healthier. There's I think there's a thread here, not to mention, you know,
Right.
dog people. What can I say? So there we have the book. It's really beautiful, and there's a section in this book, just like in the other two, with tips for heart health and ways that you can make your work on your own personal health. I can't imagine. Oh, there we go. I was going to say something's missing here, and and it's part of the proceeds of this book is going to the Heart Truth, which is from the national is a part of the National Institute of Health, or just one of their programs. and it's
Right.
about women's heart health. And because I think in the old days, I think about my grandparents and the old days, the is that heart disease or heart attack was something that you really thought about men having, that it wasn't that like, women, it just didn't seem to be that common with women. But I think you were saying earlier is the number one killer for women,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yep.
is, I mean, really, really shocking. I think to a lot of people that that heart disease kills so many women. So it's important that we stick around because our families need us, our friends need us, our knitting group needs us,
Exactly.
our crochet group needs us, right? So people should go, and there's really great information on the website for the Heart Truth, which is on the National Institute of Health website. So if you just Google the Heart Truth in quotes, it'll come right up for you. So so it's really great that this project, the series is happening for um, not only because it gives us great patterns, but because it's also helps support a great cause. So that's very cool. So, and for anybody who a knitter crocheter who have not, um, wow, I'd be hard pressed to say that you've never heard of Jimmy Bean's Wool. But if you're new to knitting or crochet, you may not have been to Jimmy Bean's Wool. Well, you don't have to go live in it. You don't have to go in person. You don't have to go to Reno or Truckee, right? You can just
Yep.
go to you can go to jimmybeanswool.com, and I will say the Jimmy Beans Wool family is, I consider, part of my family. And actually, I just placed an
Oh,
order this morning. So great customer service, and of course you can. There's always like very cool stuff on sale as well. So, but you'll see there's the Stitch Red, little Stitch Red logo there, which you can click on, and it'll give you more information about the cause to fight heart disease. And and we should fight heart disease not just for ourselves. We should help our husbands and our boyfriends and our children and our parents. I mean, heart health. We want to keep everybody around for a really long time. So
agreed.
yeah, not just around, but around and vibrant. So, and you kind of need
Yes.
your heart for that, for both things. So, now if you want to keep up with Jimmy Bean's Wool, you can head on over to Facebook, where their page is oddly enough called Jimmy Bean's Wool. And so, which makes it easy. And this is your little hawk here, right? That is in the current
Yeah.
picture. Yeah. So
Yep.
so what are these little balls of yarn we're looking at? They look like snowmen.
Oh, yeah. We decided to make snowmen this year. One of our customers was like, "Oh, it'd be really cute to take three balls of yarn and stack them on each other and use buttons for eyes and
Uh-huh.
a nose and a mouth." And then we created a pattern for our little snowmen. Used two balls of Rialto DK from Debbie Bliss and one ball of her angel. And then if you knit the angel and the Rialto together, we had a hat pattern that you could use the snowman to make, and then it had buttons on the side of
Oh,
it. And
cute.
so Huck really likes, I mean, part of the deal is it's a family business, so he has to, not has to, but he chooses to help, um, and really likes being part of it. So he's like, "Oh, I want to put the buttons on." It's a little scary sometimes as you see those nice scissors
Yeah, they're
next to a
big.
ball of yarn. Um,
Those are some
but
big
he
shears
insists,
there.
yes, he insists, and I try to remember, that that's what's important is for us to spend time together. Um, so yeah, so we one night I was like, all right, we got to put ten faces on tonight before we can do anything else, and so we put 10 faces on, and we did it together.
Oh, how
So
cute. How cute.
yes.
So you can keep up with what's going on at Jimmy Bean's Wool on Facebook and also on Twitter, where you can follow Jimmy at Jimmy Bean's Wool. So you can see what's happening on there. And I see right here, there's lots of people are telling you how much they love you, which is always
Hmm.
good when you get love, wherever it is,
It's
even
really
if it's on
nice.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite Jimmy Bean's Wool place, other than the website, which I shop when I can't get local because I'm a big believer in shopping local, and I'm not lucky enough to live in Reno or Truckee. So, but the Pinterest boards for Jimmy Bean's Wool, which is really nice because it's It's really about all kinds of craft and beautiful things that are handcrafted, and it's a very cool. I love your boards. It's very cool. As you can see, I actually follow you on here on
Oh,
Pinterest. And
thank
then
you.
we do want to remind people that this book is actually the third in the series. And if your local yarn store, which is the first place you should look, doesn't have it, then you should pop on over to Planet Pearl and help support Planet Pearl. In addition to Heart Health, in addition to Laura, you can, so it's like a threefer, which is pretty cool.
Win, win,
Is
win.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see actually the most recent book in the, when you click on, if you go to Planet Pearl and click on books, this is the page that comes up. And oddly, the first book, Crochet Red, says it's by Laura Zander. And then the next book is Stitch Mountain, which is also by Laura Zander. And if you missed that event, and this book, Stitch Mountain, is spectacular, is on our YouTube channel. You can find the interview with Laura and the preview of that book, as well as if you go to our Planet Pearl Live events page and go down and click on archives, you can watch it from there as well. So you can get a preview of that book because Laura just keeps us happy. What can I say? So also there's the third, you can, if you go to K here on here, you'll see Knit Red right here from Laura, which is the Knit Red was the first or second book.
That was the first
It
one.
was the first one. And then also, which normally we don't have sewing books in our little bookstore, but because it's part of this series, if you go to S, you'll also see right below Stitch Mountain, you'll see Sew Red by Laura Zander, which is really adorable. And it's got lots of cute little sewing projects, all of course, in red with the kind of the heart health thing happening there as well. So
Yeah.
now, Laura, if people are interested in, hang on a second. Oh, sorry, I had to cough. The heat's been going for 3 weeks up here, so
Sad.
uh,
Oh, yeah,
it's
it's
hard.
happening to me too.
So, you are giving away kits for projects from Crochet Red.
We are. Yes, I actually just got the calendar. We're for the first 2 weeks of February, so February 1st through the 14th, each day we are through All Free Crochet giving away the yarn and the book to make one of the patterns in the book. So one day we'll be giving away the yarn and the book so that you can make Drew Imborski's design out of the book. You know, one day we're giving away the yarn and the pattern so you can make Marley Bird's design. And every day you can go to allfreecrochet.com and go to their giveaways section.
It's
and
right here under reviews and giveaways, right?
Yes, yep,
There you go.
yep. I don't know that it's up yet, but it'll be up there in a couple of days.
Yeah, because February 1st is right around the corner.
It is right around the corner, yeah. Yep, and
Yeah.
we're giving them away as baskets and bouquets. So they're, you know, even if you win and you don't want to make that, it makes a great gift. So you could give it to somebody else and it's already packaged up as a nice gift. And
Which
then we'll
is,
be doing the same thing, you know, for Stitch Mountain in the latter part of the month.
oh, great. Oh, that's good to know. And
Yeah.
will that also be on this site or will that be someplace else?
That one will be on allfreeknitting.com because Stitch
Oh,
Mountain is all knitting stuff.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, we thought it would be fun. You know, we partnered with the yarn companies and partnered with the designers, and you know, again, it's just a win-win-win-win-win all the way around.
And there's one thing that knitters and crocheters love. We love free stuff. We
Well,
love to
don't we
win
all?
stuff. We do. We love free stuff. Who doesn't?
Yes,
Yeah. So it makes us feel a little bit better about the size of our stash if we didn't pay for all of it.
exactly. Yeah, good
Exactly.
point.
Well, you know, you got to take those little bits where you can find them, right? So
Right.
Yeah, so that's very exciting, and I'm really glad that you came back to talk to us about Crochet Red. I know you have more coming up in this series. So
Yes, we do. We're
yes,
working on Cook Red as well. We figured that it doesn't matter if you knit, sew, or crochet, we all eat. And
yes, we
it's funny, I
do.
mean, it really came about because everybody has said, my favorite part of that book is the recipes. So we reached out and got 30, top chef and, chefs of local restaurants or other restaurants around the country, B. Smith, got all of them together and they put together, we've got 30 heart healthy recipes. So
What a
that'll probably
great
come out
idea.
next February.
Oh, what a great idea. What a great idea. So you'll come back and talk to us when the next book is out, right?
We will, yeah. We'll keep this going for.
Yeah.
I'll be friends. We'll be friends forever.
We'll be friends forever until one of us like loses the ability to knit, crochet, or touch yarn
Exact or eat.
or
Yeah.
eat. Yeah, so there you go. So I think it's gonna be a long and happy friendship.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Laura. I really appreciate you coming to talk about this book. It's such a great project. It's for such a good cause. I think the heart issue. It, my mother's had heart surgery, and her father had heart surgery, and I think this heart disease is one of those things that touches everybody's life at some point or another. And so it's such a good cause, and 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 such a beautiful book. So thank you so much for coming to visit. I hope we'll see you soon.
Well, thank you, and yeah, likewise.
Take
Come
care.
out to Tahoe sometime.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
All right. Talk to you later.